cái trò chơi này sẽ được tạo ra trong share trò này lúc share chẳng là một cộng được còn là sáu sự để mọi người sẽ TV thế là cái trong trò này sẽ đỡ nó chỉ hay nên tụ lâu tụ lúa tụ bên này chỉ đang thông cảm tụ trong share trò này lúc share chẳng là một cộng được còn là sáu sự để mọi người sẽ TV ấy cú ya Geena Cha cho sáu sự trò này tận tay là thế có sáu sự chẳng lúc nói cho số là một trò này sẽ đỡ nó dễ trả nên trong nó nu Sunday cái sự lúc chua liên tục bên thi cầu cheese nhớ rồi sắp về Florida tụ cú President Donald Trump mỗi ý thứ tiếng Anh tua so này thế tua dục tua cả tàu nữa nó nhớ trong tờ nửa lu và này nó vắt chơi nó có chơi tiền nửa mùn này nó play nữa cho golf và nhớ trong bể sa Florida trở lại khăn đó sư thầu ta su thầu yo mù này nó gì em một liên con game và golf đó nó chỉ mua ý tu và này nó tiếng Anh tua so thế tua rõ tua nữa cho có chơi đó cho nên tới trên khó so sánh nó đó thông cảm tu thiết với cho là một chỗ này thiên không nói giờ ít nung hay tiền nung tỏ cá kia sức sẽ được thả lý giả tên đó là thiệpแต่ชิมาตูที่หนึ่งวันนี้เนาะตัวกู้ President Donald Trump แต่ในเจตื้อม้วนหนึ่งเตะเตาละเจ้าลิแต่ชิมาซื้อเนี่ยเนาะขอหนึ่งตัวนั่นน่ะเจ้าลินุ่งนอเสด็จเนี่ยเนาะเตะเตาหนึ่งเตาเต้าเทียนแล้วม้วนเตาจ่อวันนี้เนาะสอสื่อละมุดชื่อเจ้าเสด็จเทียนละมุดชิฐานนะเจเนี่ยเนาะตูที่หนึ่งแต่นะหนึ่งตื้อตัวย่อตัวเราเขาเชิญแต่เขาnóiอย่างอีเขาเชิญให้เตะเนี่ยตัวชอตัวย้อนแต่นะเจthầu nữ kia tàu nó có chân tàu chỉ là mua tàu nữ cho khổng thì nữ mua trò đâu khẩn tàu này chị mua cho khổng no thiê chỉ ta nó mua trái ya phòn tế thiê nữ tứ tua nhó rồi có chân đó liệt cổ ó số mỏng ổn đây lợn nữa chị do linh tàu nó mua xả lò nó chị tiệt nu Sunday vậy thì nữ tua so rồi có chân tàu này chị nữ chính tàu nhó rồi có chân tàu tứ nu xả rồi để làm một lợn rồi lên khẩn tàu xứ nữ tua nhó trong tàu ý cho này nó cho hai tiệt do và tàu khó là cáขอละกันเนมั่วจอนตรงเตาละมูไทยหนึ่งเต้นแต่เทียนในเกตเต้เราชวนให้ปอดหนึ่งเนาะเสื้อแต่ชิมาเท่าตัว Secret Service ตัวเขาหรือตีไทยตัววันนี้เนาะ President Donald Trump แต่หนึ่งตื้อวันนี้เนาะเรามูเชยเจเอ็นปอดเตาให้เตี้ยมั่วอีจ้ายาพอฉื่นเตออีขอเนี่ยเนาะวันบล็องเตอวันนี้เนาะชาละกันเตอในเกตในเทเตาวันนี้เนาะมัวตัวที่นั่นเด้อตัวพอหนึ่งชายจีนที่ careless จอเลยคันเดาตัวเล่นเดย์เตานั่นเนอะน้ำมันนู้นเป็น Ryan Wesley Roth โอเค Ryan Wesley Roth นะจียออีตัวอันนี้เนาะนั่งเมกาเด้ออันนี้ชี้เจ้าอีชงหรือยออีตัวที่นั่งให้เดียหรือยังมัวตันเตาชื่อสีเตาเช้าอันนี้เนาะ social media เต้นเตาเทียบเป็นหมายจอในหมู่เตาสั้นเตาแต่ชีเตาเลยขอวันนี้เนาะตั้งแต่นอนในเกณฑ์หนึ่งจะชีเตามัวพอละหมู่ตัวเกี่ยเจ้าวันนี้เนาะตัวคู่ President ว่า Donald Trump เด้อที่ขอซื้อในเกณฑ์หนึ่งเตาใช้เกณฑ์หนึ่งจีเตาเขียวละเสื้อจะทำในเขียนเตาในเกณฑ์มัวที่หนึ่งเตาปอในเกณฑ์ละท้ายเตาหนึ่งลูกเชนหนึ่งมงก้าเทียบละท้ายเตาหนึ่งได้ license plate เลยเทียบจากก้าเตาหนึ่งเสื้อจอเลยคันเดินหนึ่งอย่างอีตัวนั่งชี้เจ้าอีชงจอนุ่มมันเด่นนะเกซื้อเลยจอหนึ่งละโมเจ้าชาติ West Palm Beach ละโมเจ้าลุสานจอทุ่งเนาะจากขอเลยยมวัดสี่เจ้าหนึ่งเจ้าทุ่งนอนในเกล้มวัดจากก้าเจ้าชาติ Federal Firearms Charge นะมาเขาnóiอีข้อสี่ให้เตียหนึ่งมัววันนี้เนาะจ้าอย่าผ่อนเตนนั่นจอหนึ่งเนาะเสพจะจุดจีต้องมัวขอให้เตียย่อตั้งเหมือนลิจาชื่อตัวลิจามูลิจาเต้นเด้อตีคอเลยมัวเขาแต่ firearm charge เรามาจนหนึ่งนั่นมาได้จบเลยจะตู้ยังสื่อที่จะ FBI เลยจุดต้องมัวหันเดินเลยที่ลิตองมัวหนึ่งเกินเนี่ยเราหงกัวเรามาเชิญเฟิร์ตอกการสิเสพจะขอน้อยย่อเนี่ยเนาะจบที่ all เลยเนี่ยเนี่ยตู้ปอดตัวเตียนอย่างคนเท่าลิ all ลุลีนะเสพเท่าตัวกู้ President Donald Trump เนาะแล้วตื้อตัวเนี่ยจอหนึ่งลูกบอลเชี่ยเทียอย่าจอเลยคันเตาจอเนาะอย่าจอที่อ้อเลยอย่ายิ่งมัวเกณฑ์ชายกันก่อนเลยเทียจีฮอเลยให้เตียเนี่ยเนาะว่าจอที่อีเสจอเนาะจอที่อ้อนั่งสากันในตัวเนี่ยแล้วเทียเตาตัวชอเทียตัวจอยตัวม้วนในตัวกันในตัวอย่าจอเลยคันเตาซื้อตันทอย President Donald Trump ตัวกู้เฉยเนาะจอนั่ง Republican เทียจอวันนี้นะเชิญเนี่ยเทียมมือจอ Democrat เทียตัวเรามัวชัวเรามัวหายจอหายเตียหายจอตัวคอเกวันนี้เนาะชีพอเรามัวตัวที่นั่งเนาะเขาเนาะยิ่งย่ออีคอหายเตียเจก็เกาหลีจออยู่ว่าเจจอเลยคันตาซึมแต่ชิโนตัววันนี้เนาะวันที่นั่งวันละมันเตะเกินเตอเนี่ยยิ่งหายเตียแล้วจุดตัวมัวตัวคอเรามัวตัวเปชเดอหายจอเตียหนึ่งลูกหับเพียย่อลิจาแล้วย่อหายเตียเนี่ยเนาะว่าเป้ยมัวเตากันเตาจอดตรงนี้นั่นน่ะยจุดเกียร์แล้วจอดในถาเทียใช้เฟิร์มหมูเอาเป็นทุ่งตอนเต้นนอนเลยยังมือเอาเป็นวันที่ตอนเต้นนอนนะเจ๊เป้ที่เลี้ยเคียร์ตอนนี้ให้เดี๋ยวยอมวิลิจ่าโอลิจ่าเต้นเตาตีคอซื้อนั่นน่ะนะเจ๊ยิ่งยอมคอยเดี๋ยวจังจังตัววันนี้นะ Secret Service ให้ตัว agent เตาน่ะยิ่งให้เดี๋ยวเนี่ยเนาะว่า nữ ya tu suวันนี้เนาะตัวตูติ้นแห่งนอนอะมาเจตูติ้นแห่งว่า Ryan Roth เนาะที่ลีตอมัวเกนชัยไอ้ที่ลีตอไปการลุเช็คเขียนเลยเสือเจตูจงให้เตียเนี่ยเนาะnữ yaตูวันนี้เนาะตัวตูปอตูนั่งเดอวันเต้ยันชีปอนั้นเชยเท่าวันนี้เนาะตูกู้ President Donald Trump เดอลอมูนยี่เจดอกเขาเชิญเดอเนี่ยเจจ้า rifle เนี่ยเนาะจ้าพอเดินเดอได้จอยิงตัวเตาให้เดียยงยี่เทียนเชยแต่ชินอสจอในทุ่งนอซึยิงให้เดียไปจอสอสื่อเจยวนหนอจอให้เดีย President Donald Trump ตาหนึ่งจะเชียร์ละจอเลยคันเดอถอนเคสเตอเนี่ยยิงแล้วยิงให้เคสไปชิดให้เดียแล้วมูจอที่เขาเชิญซื้อเลยยิงปออีลูกแคมราลูกดิจิทัลแคมราได้จอลูกน้อยยังละมูไทยเลยยังมูเกินขอหนึ่งตัวเนี่ยเนาะ President Donald Trump จิตานี่เดอมูลูกแบ็คแพ็คเทียเจนจ้าวันนี้เนาะพอเดียย่อตัวเขาเชิญเดอยิ่งเยอะอีจอเลยเด SKS style assault rifle นะมายิ่งย่อจอให้เดียชีละมูว่าจอนะมาเจนย่อตัวเขาหนึ่งลูกน้าแบ็คแพ็คเดอในเจมัวของนอของเสียเทียนะ จะเทียบเคตัวเป้ให้เดียหนึ่งตุ้งย่อเนาะเขาเชิญเตยละเจตาชินอซื้อ FBI แล้วจะต้าต่อยิ่งจะต้าก้าเช่าเฟิร์ที่ investigate ตูที่นั่งนอหนึ่งอีตุ้งย่อตัวชาฮาวายเองเนี่ยเราเลยจะก้าให้เดียหนึ่งยาเลยจากตัวจอตัวชาฟลอริดาหนึ่งตัวเขาตื่นเลยหนึ่งอยากหนึ่งหอมมัวเนี่ยเราจ้าอย่าผ่อนหนึ่งย่อตัวชาฟลอริดาเทียอย่างหนึ่งกาตัวเลยอย่าตื่นจอหนึ่งว่าเขาเหลือเองมัวจะนอต่อตัวหนึ่งย่อตัวชาฟลอริดาcho nói giờ chó thì trời chỉ tao bao là một khi nào hay thì giờ vì lý trả còn nói giờ chó rồi tác tỏ chơi phơi thì tao cá sợ chỉ trâu cái nút mảnh để nó sợ cho camera và nhớ đời cho tôi chính sửa là muốn tệ từ Ryan Roth nó là mua tàu là cho body camera là giờ chó thì là trong đây là lúc chế thầu là bài trợ cá tàu rồi nữa nó chỉ là tôi muốn chữ tàu cho sự đợi trong lúc nó là trời sang tàu nữa Martin County Sheriff's Office lỡ hay tiền lớn tệ tàu từ Roth arrest đỡ chỉ lỡ thì mua đại video nó một trò page rồi sai còn tiền nó do năm mò lỡ tại vì nó chỉ lỡ cả mua đại video là một trò page rồi sai sơ lỡ hay tiền thằng nó mua lỡ muốn tiền nữa anh này nó yên chi kia nó yên chịu đi trả liền lỡ yên tiền nữa tàu dưới dùng gì lọ sơ mua này nó và khó hay tiền video nó là một trò nên là chỉ gọi đi học trợ cá theo đi trả tiền đỡ thiên là chỉกูจะนี่มึงใช้แต่วิดีโอเนาะตาจอกูมาลิจ่อเขาสอนส่วนนั้นสีตอนเที่ยงในเที่ยงปอต่อให้เดียแล้วมุนเตยตอนหนึ่งลิจ่าตาลินเตอร์ในเกี่ยวกูมาตะการรอเอ้าจีซ่อมขอตื่นนะ
As I can, then we'll do all the questions that we can get to. Right about 1:55 p.m. yesterday afternoon, we received a bolo, we'll be on the lookout, from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, which contained information that a suspect had just been involved in an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. They gave us a vehicle description and a tag number. And so we immediately deployed out to the interstate because the information was that the suspect was possibly headed north on I-95. So every available unit obviously went out. We covered every exit. We were from the mile marker at the county line between Palm Beach County and Martin, and then St. Lucie County line. One of my road patrol deputies, very alertly, even though it was weekend traffic, I-95, saw the vehicle and called it out. You know, we have a thing here in Martin County, hashtag wrong exit. We don't let cars get out of here, but we also don't do traffic stops until we're ready. So we followed the vehicle till my big pickup trucks got on location, and with those big front end bumpers, they maneuvered that vehicle to a stop, so there was no chase. Then they effected what we call a felony stop. They called the suspect out. He came back and he was handcuffed, and we contained him there until the arrival of the federal authorities. The Secret Service was there very fast, and then the FBI did show up a short time later. We turned the suspect over to the FBI and reopened the interstate. The interstate was shut down, northbound, southbound. St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office deployed their bomb detection dog. We had to make sure. And we didn't take any statements from the suspect. We didn't recover any evidence. We turned the car and the suspect over to the federal authorities. So I'm going to stop, open questions.
Dòng xe tàu này chuyển nhớ được cụ thể là cái dòng tàu này sẽ hiện có là một cổng bên nằm trong TV này chỉ cú ya Geena Cha hay xóa sửa cho xóa sửa tàu này trong nút nọ chỉ là cái dòng tàu này sẽ được nút nọ giờ ý nếu chẳng chẳng hay là một số tàu sai thì kia nọ chữ thế nhớ tàu sai thì cho mình cả nói vì hệ rộng nói hiện rộng thì muốn năng như là một tổ cú President Donald Trump vì thế mua cái lùn tàu nhon cả tàu săn tàu thế hay là một số tàu hệ tiền nhớ người dân này vậy thế rồi nữa là một quả tàu ý thứ President chỉ trong nó sát thì Mỹ này thế rồi nhưng mùi khẩn tới thì lý muốn năng nhiều là muốn được tổ thếแต่ชิมาแต่ชิโนเลยอินเตย์ตัวตีนึงเดาเลยลีได้วิดีโอเป็นหัวมดในใช้เนาะเจนูเตาเรามูไฮเตียเนี่ยเนาะเจอจิตามดลูเรามูตัวเป็นสุดเด็ดแต่ชิมาจะ FBI แล้วเจอตาต่อเจอก้าที่เต้าก้ามูนจอหนึ่งรู้เจนั่งถามมูอินเทอร์วิวจอนั่งช่างเจหนึ่งเทียจอพงยืดเทียจิตาลินเดาจอนั่งว่าย่อเจจนหนึ่งเนี่ยเนาะให้เจ้าตัวคอวันนี้เนาะจอตั้งมันชูชีเนาะเจตาชินะเนี่ยจิตต้องว่าอีกข้อ motive นะมันจิตต้องว่าอีกข้อหอบเพี้ยเราโมเคเราจะได้ให้ได้ยอดวิลิจาเนื้อข้อสามหมู่ตัวกู้ president เราย่อรสชาติที่มีการนาเทียเจตาลิคันต่อซื้อจอ investigation วันนี้เนาะย่อจอช่างฟังแต่ชินะน่ะแล้วจะมุดเจอก้าตัวนี้จอ online อย่างเดียวก็มุดหาจีก็ว่าจีก็เหนียจีก็เจอก้าจีเนาะแล้วจะตั้งต่อมุดใช้ตัวคันต่อเลยซื้อเลยเทียบโป๊ะเตาเทียบเกิดเตาให้ติดเนื้อย่อยที่ติดได้ยังลิจาหนึ่งลู่สาลิจาหนึ่งลู่เชี่ยสาลิจานั่นเนาะไอ้โอลิจาเนี่ยข้อสาเราหมดตัวกู้President Donald Trump อย่าต่อเลยคันต่อซื้อยังเขาอีกข้อหนึ่งยังมั่วชัวเตาเราหมดถาจอตัวชาวันนี้เนาะเก๋ว่าจอตัวชายูเครนติงโกโจวันนี้เนาะชาชัวติดแถวเทียจุดที่ทางนี้เดินเทียหนึ่งยังเราหมดมั่วชัวเราหมดจอโจนอีพงเตอหนึ่งโชว์เตาเตอพงน้อยย่อชงว่าอ้อผาหนึ่งก็เป้นอนลุ่มเบจนหนึ่งพงเตอหนึ่งมั่วว่าชูชีเตอเนาะcho là một mùa đó sẽ đợi nó hồi Ukraine's unwinnable war nó nhớ cho hậu nữ nhưng mỗi cho lù và nó nhớ trỗi trong lông hậu hay tiệt do từ xã tua cọt nó assassinate do tua President Trump nó nhưng mỗi cho lù nó nhớ cho nữ phong đạo thiệt giờ chỉ ta đi tới sự thiệt nữ nhưng tao là mùa hay tiệt trở cá li và nó cho chắc phân đó nữ giờ ý thức sở chế là mùa và nó tru tin năng là mùa recruit là vậy là nhiều một cho tin năng hay cho đồ sai hay tiệt cọ lỡ mùa cho nhớ đồ sai Ukraine nên nó tí thái Ukraine cho Russia lúc đấy khởi thiệt chỉ ta đến tới nữ trở và nên nó mua nhiệt sâu cho và chống tu hay cho đồ mua cho nhiệt nên nó ba thiệt và nên nó cho tàu và nên nó ít cho tin năng hay tiệt do từ từ bài trâu sa Ukraine nó mua volunteer đồ sát tí nè nó chỉ thiết li và nên nó do ít kho và lỡ và nên nó cho và là một chủ sĩ khi đó bé đó sẽ đợi nông nọ ý đó khó và lỡ mua là một chủ sĩ nhất rồi tài sản này lỡ mua trong nông nọ hay tiệt gọi là thiết li tàu mua nền tệ tàu cả sáu mươi cho hành tàu này chỉ hay tiệt khó thì ý này do khó illegal possession of gun nè mà khỏi tiền nữ mua đáp họ là đáp họ lon tàu này chỉ là thiết lý mua cho tàu rồi sẵn tàu vì hệ tiền từ mua chủ sĩ đến đâu khỏi giàu hay tiền nữ mua khó lò mua hay tiền felony convictions nó mua tấm bằng cho tôi chẳng sự đùa là thiệt chỉ là chúng mua khó charge nữa thầu lúc trong hạ nhớ cho sát North Carolina chủ sĩ thiết lần đầu sát tiền nữ muốn nhiệt không chỉ trở lại khăn tàu sư tại chỉ nó là hay cho được khó muốn nền tệ nó là những giờ ít khó ở đây nó đề tàuแต่是嘛เขา真正插來那咗那主就是他貼咗我哋睇電過咗咗 FBI 貼咗都件事那嘛係啲人呢係揸咗沙我哋睇呢 President Donald Trump 那嘛來ขอ啲了我好留意用嘅嚟貼啦嘅就你看到貼你有一個來要主導我個用咗到當地貼呢就路呢叫了冇事睇到當中那貼但是呢就 FBI 我哋係呢我就所說呢就我哋係share呢เชี่ยลิเชี่ยเตานะมาวีตินอยู่คนน้ำมอแค่ซื้อให้จ้าเราขอ lời xã tụi tin là nó nhiều là một tua cả tàu President Donald Trump giờ trở đi khăn tới nung nọ nhọc cái nung thi o cho video họ chụp sĩ thế nung nọ chỉ riêng ít họ hay tiền live conference giờ ít họ là một anh nó khi trao sự để cho anh nó năng sở sự thiết trao sự để là một thằng hay tiền tại sao FBI là họ investigation lý trả tên đó là một trong họ live là một trong họ video nó này chị cũng cho nên một sai chịu còn nên bỏ tao hay tiền FBI họ phía lý trả là update thiết là tao lý trả rồi là họ không lựa lợi nó này chị cũng cho nên một trong họ nên nó media live conference nó ta này chị cũng bảo cái cho sở sự gì rồi nên tận đây nó thiệt.
We, meaning the gentlemen that are up here, which is the U.S. Attorney, FBI, Secret Service, we're going to give you everything that we have. We're going to give you the latest updates. They're going to tell you what's going on with the investigation, everything. And we're going to do a limited amount of questions. So make them good, all right? Don't get into what if and all this. Get legitimate questions. We got it? Yes, sir. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, we're here today to give an update on the investigation in regards to the incident at Trump International. With me is the U.S. Attorney, the FBI, and the Secret Service. Just to give you a little information, as you well know, the road down there on Summit is still blocked off. It will be blocked off probably for the remainder of today and probably a good portion of tomorrow, until some of the investigative things need to be done and finished. But we're accommodating people in and out, getting them to the library, getting them to the post office, so the public is not going to be that far inconvenienced. The security level at Mar-a-Lago is the highest it can possibly be now. The road closures are back in place and will remain there. The checkpoints are in place. And my commitment to the Secret Service is to give them every possible resource from PBSO. Once they determine the level of security that they need, they will get all the resources possible. So having said that, I'll let you talk to the U.S. Attorney.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mackenzie Lapointe. I am the United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida. I want to start by expressing my deep gratitude to Sheriff Rick Bradshaw of Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office for hosting today's press conference and for his department's assistance with this matter. I'm truly grateful for your leadership, sir. I'm also pleased to be joined by our partners in federal law enforcement from the FBI and the United States Secret Service, and also from ATF. Joining us today for comments and announcements are Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey B. Veltri of the FBI Miami Field Office, and Acting Director of the U.S. Secret Service, Ron Rowe. I want to also thank the men and women in law enforcement who have been working around the clock in the initial phase of this ongoing investigation. Our partners include federal and local authorities who effectuated the apprehension of the defendant and have aided in ensuring federal charges were filed against him this morning. We're here to announce that Ryan Wesley Routh, 58 years old, of Hawaii, has been charged by a criminal complaint in the Southern District of Florida with firearms offenses related to an incident which occurred yesterday at Trump International Golf Course right here in West Palm Beach. Routh was charged federally with possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession and receipt of a firearm with an obliterated serial number. He had his initial appearance today before Magistrate Judge Ryan McCabe in the federal courthouse in West Palm Beach. According to the allegations in the complaint, a U.S. Secret Service agent walking the golf course perimeter saw what appeared to be a rifle poking out of the tree line. After the agent fired a service weapon in the direction of the rifle, a witness saw a man later identified as Routh fleeing the area in the tree line. Routh was later apprehended by officers from the Martin County Sheriff's Office in coordination with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. The complaint alleges that in the area of the tree line from which Routh fled, agents found a digital camera, a backpack, a loaded SKS-style rifle with a scope, and a black plastic bag containing food. The serial number on the rifle was obliterated. According to the complaint, Roth was convicted of felonies in North Carolina in December 2002 and March 2010, and therefore was prohibited from possessing a firearm. The FBI is leading this investigation, this ongoing investigation. As the Attorney General stated earlier today, the FBI is continuing its investigation of this incident as an assassination attempt upon the former president. The investigation remains at its early stages. The entire Justice Department, including the FBI, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, and the National Security Division are coordinating closely with our law enforcement partners to fully investigate and prosecute this matter. The charges we're announcing reflect the strong collaboration of the agencies represented here. The U.S. Attorney's Office, the Department of Justice, would be unable to carry forth our mission without the invaluable assistance of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners. I would like to thank the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and we have Chris Robinson here, Special Agent in charge, and your Secret Service for the invaluable assistance they are providing, they have been providing. I would also like to recognize the Palm Beach County and Martin County Sheriff's Offices for apprehending the defendant. Again, without the local authorities to assist in those things, it would be literally impossible to accomplish the things we're able to accomplish on the federal side. I want to personally express my gratitude to the attorneys with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida and the Counterterrorism Section of the Justice Department's National Security Division for their nonstop work over the last 24 to 30 hours. Together, we will continue to work tirelessly to ensure accountability and the pursuit of justice. At this time, I will invite FBI Special Agent in Charge Jeff Veltri to the podium. After Special Agent in Charge Veltri completes his remarks, Acting Director of the U.S. Secret Service, Ron Rowe, will provide remarks before we open the floor for a few questions. On our end, given that this is a pending matter before the court and the investigation is ongoing, all comments will be limited. Thank you very much. Jeff.
Good afternoon. For a quick introduction, my name is Jeffrey Veltri, FBI Special Agent in Charge for the Miami Field Office. The FBI immediately responded to the scene here in West Palm Beach, Florida, and we are investigating this matter as an apparent assassination attempt of former President Trump. We view this as extremely serious and are determined to provide answers as to what led up to the events which took place. I want to emphasize we're just a little over 24 hours into this investigation, so we're going to provide as much as we can publicly while our investigation is still ongoing. We must also stress that the United States Attorney's Office is pursuing charges, and that limits some of the details that we can discuss publicly. Yesterday afternoon, Martin County Sheriff's Office took custody of Ryan Routh, and he was transported back to Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. Our FBI agents then attempted to interview him, and he invoked his right to an attorney. In the last 24 hours, the FBI and our partners have been dedicated to investigating the incident and utilizing all available resources. These efforts have included our investigative team and the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, in conjunction with DOJ's National Security Division, are actively working hand in hand to pursue and subsequently execute search warrants. Thus far, the warrants include a video recording device, subjects' cellular devices, a vehicle, and other electronic devices located at previous known addresses. We are coordinating with the United States Secret Service to complete numerous interviews of agents on scene. We have also interviewed 7 civilian witnesses at the scene, and that is just the beginning. Our FBI's Honolulu and Charlotte field offices have initiated interviews of several family members, friends, and former colleagues of the subject. FBI has deployed several specialty teams and assets from FBI headquarters and our lab division in Quantico to include evidence and critical incident response personnel. The evidence response team is collecting and processing multiple evidentiary items. These range from the rifle, which is an SKS model with a scope and obliterated serial numbers, to 2 bags, the subject's electronics, and what appears to be ceramic tiles. DNA has also been collected from those items, which are being sent to Quantico for testing. We will also process the subject's vehicle for evidence. The Cellular Analysis Survey Team, what we refer to as CAST, conducted thorough analysis of the subject's cellular device locations. The CAST analysis aligns with witnesses' account of the subject's presence at the scene both before and around the time of the incident on September 15th. More specifically, we're continuing to conduct analysis and will be compiling the subject's movements in the days and months leading up to September 15th. Cellular data shows that the subject was in the vicinity of the golf course roughly 12 hours before the engagement with the United States Secret Service. Our investigative teams conducted a neighborhood canvass in an effort to collect and obtain relevant video footage. The subject had an active online presence, and we are going through what he posted and any searches he conducted online. In addition, we're going through media reports and public statements he made that he wanted to recruit Afghan soldiers and others to fight for Ukraine. The FBI has sent multiple requests to companies for returns on the subject's phone and social media accounts. We received several returns and are waiting on additional responses from other companies as well. Our investigative team is completing analysis of the returns and actioning leads as needed, and we anticipate continuing until the FBI knows the full totality of the subject's social media presence. By way of his background, in 2002, as the United States Attorney mentioned, the subject was charged and convicted in North Carolina for possession of a weapon of mass destruction. Law enforcement checks also revealed that from 1997 to 2010, the subject had numerous felony charges for stolen goods. I can also share with you that he was the subject of a previously closed 2019 tip to the FBI where it was alleged he was a felon in possession of a firearm. In following up on the tip, the alleged complainant was interviewed and did not verify, I repeat, did not verify providing the initial information. The FBI passed that information to local law enforcement in Honolulu. On behalf of the FBI, I would like to thank the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Martin County Sheriff's Office for their incredible work in actioning the witnesses' information and rapidly apprehending the subject. I would also like to thank the United States Secret Service, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of Florida, the Department of Justice's National Security Division, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and our FBI field offices in both Honolulu and Charlotte, who have been conducting additional law enforcement activity related to the subject. Your continued partnerships have been invaluable. Oftentimes in law enforcement, we tell citizens to be vigilant and aware of their surroundings. Yesterday, a citizen provided remarkable assistance, which led to the arrest of this subject. We appreciate the public's diligence in passing potential tips and information regarding the subject and this incident to the FBI. If you have any information, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI or go online to tips, that's tips.fbi.gov. With that, let me turn it over to the United States Secret Service Acting Director, Ron Rowe.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yesterday afternoon, this country was reminded of the heightened and dynamic threat environment that the United States Secret Service and its protectees face on a daily basis. Immediately following the assassination attempt of former President Donald J. Trump on July 13th, the Secret Service moved to increase assets to an already enhanced security posture for the former president. In the days that followed, President Biden made it clear that he wanted the highest levels of protection for former President Trump and for Vice President Harris. The Secret Service moved to sustain increases in assets and the level of protection sought. And those things were in place yesterday. At approximately 1:30 p.m., former President Trump was playing golf during an off-the-record movement to the Trump International Golf Course. A Secret Service advance agent supporting the front edge of the agency's layered approach to protection encountered an individual attempting to secrete himself in the woodline. This happened, the alleged gunman was on the public side of the fence near the 6th green. A layered approach of security is integral to the Secret Service's protective methodologies, and it's also the key to our success. As former President Trump was moving through the 5th fairway across the course and out of sight of the 6th green, the agent, who was visually sweeping the area of the 6th green, saw the subject armed with what he perceived to be a rifle and immediately discharged his firearm. The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent. With reports of gunfire, the former president's close protection detail immediately evacuated the president to a safe location. The protective methodologies of the Secret Service were effective yesterday. The former president's protective apparatus allowed for the early identification of the threat and led to a safe evacuation. The increased assets directed by President Biden were in place yesterday. These included the counter-sniper team elements, counter-surveillance agents on the exterior, counter-assault teams partnered with local tactical assets from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, and counter-unmanned aerial system elements. All of these entities were present yesterday. And while all of these assets were in place, as I've said publicly, we must satisfy the basic requirements of the Secret Service's protective methodologies. In partnership with local law enforcement, we did just that. And the agents' hypervigilance and the detailed swift action was textbook. And I commend them and our partners for an exemplary response in keeping former President Trump safe. And I will tell you, having served in local law enforcement in Palm Beach County, I can state that I am tremendously impressed and appreciative for all of the efforts of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Schneider with the Martin County Sheriff's Office. But what was critical to this was the quick reaction, the response, the hypervigilance of the men and women of the United States Secret Service, who since July 13th have been rising to meet an unprecedented and hyper-dynamic threat environment. And they are rising to this moment, and I could not be more proud of them and the way they have executed, not only yesterday, but what they're doing today and what they are doing tomorrow and what they will always do, because it is their duty. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, go slow here, folks. All right. Don't everybody do it at once. Ask who you want to answer the question, and then give the question.
I have a question for you, Director. Is there any evidence to suggest that the suspect knew that Donald Trump would be on the golf course at that time? And was the golf course searched thoroughly before the former president's arrival?
So at this time, it was an off-the-record movement, meaning it was not on the former president's official schedule. And what I go back to is the layered approach. The elements and the methodologies of the Secret Service. There was a front element. It did its job in sweeping ahead of the president. That's what identified this individual who was in that wood line. And the swift action of that agent doing his job, pushing out ahead, sweeping while the president was behind him several hundred yards and several holes away, out of sight from the gunman, did his job. And that was what alerted the detail, and the swift action is what triggered that.
First question, was there any evidence to suggest that the suspect knew that Donald Trump was going to be on that golf course at that time?
Based on what I know now, and it's an active investigation, I don't have any information on that.
Well, Terry Parker.
How many times did your agents go around the perimeter and scope out the golf course during the 12 hours that this guy was holed up in the shrubbery?
So this was an off-the-record movement. it wasn't a site that was on his scheduled, it wasn't part of his schedule. So there was no posting up of it because he wasn't supposed to have gone there in the first place. Garrett Haig.
Have you briefed former President Trump on your findings so far, and has his campaign asked for any changes in his security going forward after yesterday?
So, sorry. So I've had a conversation with the former president. We've explained and we've worked with the campaign. The president is aware that he has highest levels of protection that the Secret Service is providing him. We constantly evaluate based on threat. And yesterday what we show is that our agents and our protective methodologies, and there's a lot of tactical assets in place, things that have been put in place as a result of what happened 60 days ago, those elements are working, and that demonstrates the redundancies that we have. And so we constantly evaluate. We'll of course, look at this and see what lessons learned from it. But as of right now, we are constantly evaluating that threat. And if we need to ratchet up additionally, we will. Yes, sir.
Do we know when Ralph arrived in Florida in general, when he arrived in Palm Beach, the area?
That's a question probably for the FBI.
If he's been at the golf course prior to this scoping it out.
We're in the process of collecting a lot of evidence, and that will be part of that investigation to determine his whereabouts going back quite some time.
Do you have any detail on where he might have gotten it?
That's part of the investigation as well. Again, that's going to be a little bit challenged until we're able to determine the serial number on that gun. So we're hopeful to be able to do that. We're still looking into that.
The sheriff mentioned about the highest level of protection, that they would lock down the golf course. Was that a miscommunication then, being that President Biden ordered the highest level of protection?
Do you want to take this, Sheriff? Go ahead. Okay. So here's the deal. When it comes to Secret Service protection, we provide the highest level. So, for example, yesterday, counter-assault team elements. I'm not going to go into the number of personnel that we have out there, but we have the highest levels from Secret Service. When we work with the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office, like, for example, yesterday, during that emergency action response, we had their local tactical team assets partnered with our local tactical team assets. We had their helicopter up in the air, providing us 360 and situational awareness of the overhead for if there were any potential threats coming at us. So what we did yesterday was exercise our emergency plan based on the number of tactical assets and the highest level of protection that we are providing. The sheriff and I have talked. Now, clearly, when you go down Southern Boulevard right now and you try to get over to Palm Beach and you see the robust presence that's existing outside of Mar-a-Lago, the heavy uniform presence, the additional assets of the Secret Service. And for those of you that were here in 2017, when the president was in office, when you look at that footprint now and you look at it today, there's not much difference there. There's heavy uniform presence out there. And again, what I go back to is yesterday was an off-the-record movement. Off the record. And the president wasn't even really supposed to go there. It was not on his official schedule. And so we put together a security plan, and that security plan worked.
I know that the Secret Service has asked for additional resources.
Being in the vicinity, Special Agent Daughtry, in terms of him being in the vicinity, based on his phone records, is there any evidence to show that Ralph was in the vicinity in the area before Sunday? And when you say in the vicinity, does that mean right there at that spot in those bushes, or could it have been, down the street at a restaurant?
It was in very close proximity to where he was spotted by the Secret Service. In terms of your first question, whether he was there earlier, our investigation is still looking to determine that.
Right, whoa. We're going to do two more. You get one. All right? Only two more. You get one.
Okay, we understand that the Secret Service has asked Congress for additional resources since the Butler rally. Have you received those resources yet?
So thank you for that question. So we are working. Look, the Secret Service operates under a paradox of zero-fail mission, but also that we have done more with less for decades. And this goes back many decades, right? What I can tell you is that we have immediate needs right now, and we have great support, not only from President Biden, and you saw his public statement today, where he said that he's going to direct his staff to make sure that the Secret Service has the resources it needs. We're having fantastic conversations with members of Congress. I've been up to the Hill last week. We are continuing to have those conversations, but the long and short of it is this. coming out of Butler, I have ordered a paradigm shift. The Secret Service's protective methodologies work, and they are sound, and we saw that yesterday. But the way we are positioned right now in this dynamic threat environment, it has given me guidance to say, you know what, we need to look at what our protective methodology is. We need to get out of a reactive model and get to a readiness model. There could be another geopolitical event that could put the United States into a kinetic conflict or some other issue that may result in additional responsibilities and protectees of the United States Secret Service. And so we are working, we are making information available to all of our partners. And I just want to say that the commitment of Congress to the Secret Service throughout the years has been tremendous. And we will continue to work with them and Secretary Mayorkas, whose support in making sure that we're getting what we need has been phenomenal. He is one of our biggest champions and our advocate. And so we're having these conversations, and I feel confident that we will get what we need. We have immediate needs. We have future needs, too. I need to make sure that our counter-snipers are the best trained counter-snipers in the world, that they are exactly doing what we need them to do, and that they match counterparts in the military, in Tier 1 forces. And right now, we are working with Congress to make sure that we get those for our training facility. We also have a necessary need to make sure that we're getting the personnel that we have. And that requires us to be able to have the funding to be able to hire more people. You can't just give me money and say, hey, we're going to make sure that everybody gets overtime. Because the men and women of the Secret Service right now, we are redlining them. And they are rising to this moment, and they are meeting the challenges right now. And if you look back at their body of work over the last 60 days, the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, the Republican National Convention in Chicago, a visit of Prime Minister Netanyahu to Washington, D.C., and to West Palm Beach, which Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office supported. And then we go into the presidential debate in Philadelphia last week. And for those in the media that have been to a national special security event, if you saw the National Constitution Center last week, what you saw was pretty much a mini national special security event with the number of assets that were on that perimeter. And so our folks are rising to this moment, but it requires all of us to be able to have good conversations and make sure that we're getting the Secret Service where it needs to be. And I'm confident.
Có bù mua chế, có bù mua va chế thia, có họ bù mua lạt lụa, có họ bù mua ATV, mua mô tàu, có bù mua gò, mua RV, có bù trở mua hay tiền life insurance station đó thia, có họ bù mua ít họ chờ có cho nhiều một trò, lên hú có lẩu này chỉ mua ít bón nhiều là một chờ có luôn năng, dọn dọn hú cụ Geena Cha, dọn này tu agents, nhớ đồ bên đó fresh nào nọ, cụ tu số tông, giờ chi chua bé y bé cho chua gì đâu, cụ giờ lúc cổ trầu này luôn năng tan thò. Trong xem này trời nhớ được cụ thể là cái nhớ trong này sẽ đợi như này hỗ bỏ đây video nó ta này chỉ còn nói cho live update rồi ít khó cho FBI tua nó thả rồi sẽ đợi rồi ít khó press conference nhớ rồi sa Florida hay thì yo đi trả tận đây thế còn mua thứ cho lù hay thì lấy tế tàu rồi sẽ đợi thế giờ khi rồi này sẽ đợi hay thì rộng nó giờ rộng thì on á thầu họ sẽ số mà nhớ rồi Butler Pennsylvania thông đỡ do mấy thứ tin hàng tua President Trump ở trong nửa lúc bón dây giờ nửa chỉ ti nửa lúc dây mua này cái tế rộng không nọ nửa chỉ nó bé nhỏ lợiแต่mà nhưng rộng cái ngồi đi thế thì nửa ti nửa lúc dây mua nửa một ti cái thầu nửa một này nó ti kiên đỡ này cái port này nó một chữ ya tua chỉ thế là trâu này nó bón dây sợ vậy rộng nó thì rộng thì on là lúc cho thì các bạn thi cầu chi nhá rồi sa Florida vậy tụ tin rằng tua này nó so thế tua rõ tua của awesome mong tua tỏ tua President Donald Trumpแต่mà họ hay tiền mong rộng cái ngồi đi thế mới thứ này nó Secret Service tôiยังสื่อตัวปอดvậy thế làตัวพอร์ตตัวหนึ่งthế làตัวจิตตัว President Donald Trump อย่างนี้น้องสุดเรามาถ่ายน้องมาถ่ายแต่โยลิจาเทียยาวิลิจาเทียแต่มวลนั้นตัวอย่าลุ้นนู่นก็เกาหลีอย่างย้อนเจ้านะ FBI แต่ชินเราจะต้าต่อตัวการที่เชิญเฟิร์สเทียมาเล็กเทียตัวดาวลินตัวตอนเต้นเราเป็นสุดเทียแต่ชิจะถ่ายเจ้าลินตัวเนี่ยจะเคโรเนสุดให้ที่ President Donald Trump ยังม้วนลูซาตัวสุดแต่ชินเราให้ที่นึกชิมัวว่าเจ้าม้วน mua lý giá tên đó nửa qua cho rồi tan thao rồi cho này nó sai này rồi cho Secret Service thì lỡ qua tao hồi rong cái ngồi lý thiên là nó chỉ biết cho nên muốn lòng ý nhân đấy cho vì thế cho luôn nó giờ cho luôn tranh tranh thiên lon để sao FBI nó rồi ta tỏ cho phơi thiên lấy là một tê rồi cho luôn thì lý ý nhân đấy cho sức chạy chỉ tao ta này cho luôn cho nên chỉ nhân nên họ nên nó và chạy tao mình chỉ tên đó hết là rong share cái ngồi lý thiên thì chỉ hiểu ít họ sở sự tranh tranh thiên này thì cho tao linh tao cho nên thì cuối cho nên một trâu ít họ sở sự tranh tranh thiên trâu toàn tên là theo họ nói mà nhớ trâu Belu sang California nó tại sao cái sự chỉ lý ít bộ phận là một chỗ thì tại sao chỉ tao mua ít sau hay tiền nhớ trâu lúc rõ Oakland nhớ trâu sang California nó mua ít tu cho mường là do tu để nó mayor sau chế hay tiền là tao muốn giờ tạo trong nó chỉ rộng này thì rộng xuất thở chỉ tan thôi cho bây giờ nhớ trâu sang Oakland đã lỡ chỉ bảo tiền toàn tên nó do lý trả thì tiền thiết hay cho được họ recall nữa recall nó mà hay tiền sẽ được bài bom ba hay tiền mayor sang thọ này chủ động cái trong chỉ trâu lý khăn tới sức để nó sẽ đợi yên hay tiền lỡ chỉ bảo tiền do để nó lỡ một bom ba lý trả do ít trả năng cái trong lỡ mới nên giờ tàu lý trả tới thiết này chỉ bé cho mình chỉ khả năng là trong này cho để nó qua tin năng nữa tại sao nó mà lỡ hay tiền yếu chủ hay tiền có mua cho trâu lý để nó bị cho phá tụ tin năng gọi dân năng citizen và sản sát và này nó xin bê nó mà thế tàu bỏ rong ấy cho bài chủ sĩ cho lúc của ý hình tôi nó sẽ bài bom bả nó chỉ chờ đi khăn tàu xứ sẽ đợi yên hay tiệt chi thầu li lu nên nó ý hình tôi lúc trong năng gọi plau rồi nè sẽ đợi yên trong share cho mayor sang thọ chỉ chờ đi khăn tàu Brenda Harvey Forte tụi nó giờ ý tu nên nó lòng so là giờ tụi retire Alameda tụi county or superior court judge mà giờ tụi nhớ cho hồ lúc sản lon đó nếu giờ tụi cũ member nhớ cho police commission here giờ cho chỉ thanh đó nên chỉ nữ giờ tụi sơ chế là qua đại trang đó là một hai cho trâu hai tiệt có sang thọ nên nó là một khéo qua tụi chống mường là giờ mayor nhớ cho sát Oakland đó nữa mà qua tàu nên nó chỉ trong họ không lựa hai tiệt tí thái chỉ cho base sang qua tàu hay safety crisis mà qua tàu mua tấm bằng lo hàng hay chỉ thái tàu cho bây sẵn mua tấm bằng nhớ cho lúc rõ mà họ chẳng chẳng họ thi ý cho con đó họ thi ó mà hay cho cho city có finance cho nhiều là một khía cho lúc dây rõ nó qua tàu họ không được thiết này gì muốn tàu giả là một chủ sĩ cho ó họ là thiết này gì từ sau cái Brenda nó thiết lý tàu là một cái gì share hay tiền cho lên tàu mà yếu chủ có sẽ được cái gì share muốn đừng chờ tàu nó không lựa qua từ cháu mượn là do mayor nhớ cho sao Oakland thiết nên chỉ yếu chủ do còn nó bị trừ tàu hay tiền có sẽ là bài bom ba lại mua trâu thầu với một bom ba thầu lúc cổ ít hình tu nó mà yếu chủ hay tiếng mua cho lên năng cầu chi tiết tụi tiếng năng tàu một xin bay trâu là họ register voter signatures mà do tàu năng cầu chi tiết tụi tiếng năng đó xin trả chạy bay hay tiếng này nó lỡ xả còn nữa này nó tự trong mà lỡ thì mua họ nó là một chủ sĩ đó sẽ là bom ba nó vậy ta chỉ nó là tàu năng cầu chi tiết tụi bay lỡ vậy nó nhớ trong đời khó hay nó bay vào bom ba nó nhớ trong Oakland cho sát California nó lợ trở khăn tới lúc trâu liên tục sự Oakland City to clerk thì Alameda County lúc register nó mà lúc thì chúng bên đó cho voters nó chỉ lấy cho sở chế trở cá nhưng do chứ trắng tia thì cho năng xin là những do lợ luôn bên nhớ trong đó khăn tới chỉ tông bên giàu nữa đó chỉ ta xin nó lúc cầu ít liên tục về thì chi cho họ elections nó cho tin năng cho bây giờ nhớ nó sát Oakland nó lấy tàu chỉ share là một hai tiền lấy key yes là lấy khi nào hay tiền tao muốn đừng giờ tờ nó giờ họ nói giờ ít họ chẳng chắn là mua lo lù yes thế nào nó nhớ trong đó họ sẽ được bom bả sữa chỉ do linh tờ này nè lúc cầu thì tôi thì xa xí mà lấy từ pizza cho nó tao một cho bây giờ nhớ tao vắt chê gọi là để nó bài bom bả lấy chỉ đi khi mất xa sữa chỉ do linh tờ này chị để nó cho voting center là cho có một lên theo này giờ là một bom bả này chị khi cho lúc cầu thì tôi thì nàng cầu trâu á để mà lúc cầu thì thì xa này chỉ là những sáng tóm tới một trâu sẽ được và tạo chế lại thiệt chỉ do linh tới nè do sẽ được bom ba sẽ được bỏ rong yes thì muốn đừng chờ tới nó khó lười nè do linh tới tòn tê này khó chạy dùng một lý trả tên tới thiệt này đó vì hệ sang thô mà thầu sẽ được bom ba này là mua tụ mayor là tụ chống mượn mà liền chủ tao kia một số lúc trong nàng cầu trâu á chỉ do sẽ được bỏ rong trâu lúc trong nó này chỉ dùng lý trả tòn tê nữa đó vì thế rong nó rong su thơ do ít tu này nó sau chế và mấy ở nhớ trâu lúc gió nó chỉ tao mua li cho ít bộ trong là một cho ta xí nó mà giờ linh tới này giờ oli trà nó nè chỉ lấy rồi sau đó chỉ tao bao thiệt tí khó sau đó cá mà hay thì giờ sau đó bỏ tao hay thì gió năng bom ba ấy lấy chỉ nhẹ nữa và tụ mayor thiệt này chỉ tới rồi ta kia khó và elections giờ sau đó số ta cho và này nó và bỏ sau đó bom ba này chỉ tới rồi ta không tới này chỉ nữa rồi tao tận nữa lúc office nó trời đi không tới trời đi chọn tốt tới chủ sĩ mà tới rồi một bông đi không tới chỉ Oakland và này nó cho và city charter là giờ này nó từ council president cho nó mà giờ cho tua hay cho trâu và này nó lu dây chọn tới nó mà giờ nữ tàu tới trong này chỉ lấy chủ tàu khi họ nói về special elections nó còn nó khi đó sẽ được các một bom ba ý trong gì hết tiệt từ xa là một từ mayor này chỉ sẽ được tàu tới tua là một sĩ số cả tàu ít từ mayor là một số chế nó chỉ Oakland và họ special elections nó chỉ yếu chủ yếu ít buồn năng còn nung được họ lên giờ tới tụ và này nó tính năng tới nữa chỉ lấy cho chạy mà như mù li khăn đó chế thầu mù bông cho khăn đó lợ nó chế vào này nó lợi chủ tao mới ít tu là thì interim mayor nó mà là chui tu là một số chế là một rậu nữa lúc trong là một khía cho hậu lự sư vấn đề có special election sẽ gọi là thiên thiệt tàu ít tu chia lò nó chế ta xin nó chế tới rậu giờ nó bông lên đó giờ nó tàu hay thì sẽ được bỏ rong nó chế lúc trong năng cầu chi này chế là ít có election sẽ tới rậu mua tu mayor chia lò thiệt giờ lên đó này họ hay thì sẽ được họ bỏ chỉ bỏ rong sẽ được chống tụ mua hay tiền nấu này chế giờ lên đó này họ yêu đi trả thiệt chỉ do linh tới này chỉ nửa chủ tao nhớ cho nó không lự, và tụi mayor có ta mà tôi nói năng cầu trâu mà thầu nó khó term ta nó mà nó thì tới nó khó trông,แต่是嘛ยัง只ให้เขา用gì thiết vì hay tiền nên do tao và này nó mua tấm bằng chủ sĩ hay cho tao xa, này nó cho và FBI muốn cả rồi nó va chê là muốn cả khổng thiên tôn tới tao không có lý là thiết hay cho tao khó và là mua tấm bằng chủ sĩ này nó hay cho nữa và này nó bao trâu cho nhớ là thiết lúc chờ và lỡ và này nó và là lụa nhớ trâu xa Oakland hay cho rồi cho nhiều bút rồi là cho elections này chị giờ trời lý khăn tới nữa cho nên nó cho tí thay nữa tụi khăn trâu sáng tới thiết này chị giờ sẽ được cho bom ba hay tiền nấu cho nó nhớ nó là nữa cho tấm bằng chơi trời hay tiền muốn gì thiết cho muốn nó chủ xịn gì thiết này chị rồi chỉ tao bao nữaแต่chỉ cho federal agents cho là một hay xứ hay tiền họ indictments lấy một gì cho nữa hay cho rồi khăn nói này chị nên nó cho ta tỏ hay tiền investigation cho phơi chỉ tao tiền thiết này chị khi chẳng nên nó sẽ đợi thiết thì tôi tự nhớ ra Oakland nó nên chúng tao chờ cá rồi cho sở sự nó thiết vì hay cho rồi khăn nó nhưng do hay tiền sang thọ tại vì nó do tôi sợ chế ở tụi mayor tại vì chỉ bao thì tôi một bom ba yes là no lý giải trong nửa tuần đây thiết nó có sở sự gì tuần đây này thiết do ít khó chẳng chăng mấy tụi cam mót chia nên plei tao làm mù do tụi covid chia tại vì nó nè là mua the XEC variant nó giờ sẽ được mua họ question thiết mua lù nụ nên tao là hay tiền trời lý khăn nó nên nữ chủ sĩ lo lý giải nữ lo họ từ lo mua ô yêu mò lý giải tên đó nữa giờ lớp bỏ tao hay tiền thầu yo pi nó là một tròn tây cho lúc xong nó này chị tụ XEC variant nó mà tại vì nó xứ nữa tứ pi ở này nó năng mò nhỏ cho sát Denmark, Germany, UK thiết cho Netherlands chống cân cầu đây là thiết giờ lấy bỏ tao thì pi nó nhỏ cho sát và tất cả mấy cái nó tròn tây nó tụ nói cho tụ ở này nó ở các mỏ và này nó covid chết tận đây nó chỉ trở lấy số hai nó mà nhất là plea long từ KS point E tới KP point B chỉ trở lấy ô tô nó là một xí và này nó và mình nhổ và kia này chỉ sẽ tự từ các mỏ chia nó nè chỉ tụi nó là tụi nó thì recent mutation chỉ trở lấy khăn tới do từ dài tàu nó chỉ và có nồng mỏ ca long chư này nó xả bự chỉ cho rõ tên đó nó mỏ chỉ cá địa ta hậu và dù cho lăng mỏ thông ý chê và dù chỉ nó chữ cá tên đó và dù và chỉ cho tàu ba và dù cú ta hậu tên đó thia và dù và chỉ tàu ba hay cho cho họ hay tiền dù này nó dù chỉ tàu bay bự hồng màu là giờ trở và dù này nó sanction tổ tan thọ thia và dù trở plan này chỉ tụ các món này mà cho nó tàu chủ xịn tàu cha tàu tụ này nó variant vấn đề chỉ có sự tàu long nhiều lúc chị tên tới thia do muốn nó thì nông tên tới thia là tại sao nó trả cá pi lại tới trả cá vấn đề nó hay cho hay thì có sự tàu đi thái sự tụ khăn thia nó chỉ trở lại khăn tới cú khó sự là một sau lên nó cái do cho nên sự thia do trong mong cái sẽ TV nên trong TV do trong hay thì bé nhỏ là có plus một xa nó và để nó TV đến đó rồi nên sai sự thia bé một trong movie chỉ chia rồi nên sai đó sự thiên này chỉ bảo du đầu này cho TV thiên là hù bé thiên chỉ cho ó bao cho tàu sụn ở bên mà li họ bán này cái nó cái như trong đó này sẽ được cụ hiện chỉ là li cha cho sở sự trong này cho nó bên mà đã xin chỉ đùa